Говорят, Саня, да куда же ты делся? Говорят, вспомни, что же в треках ты пел сам. Да на фото Сани ты хотя бы улыбнулся. Поржавели Сани, он продался и сдулся.
Hey YouTube, this is Uncle Momo's music reaction channel where I provide my views on talented artists from around the world, both established artists and non-established artists. And I promise you that you won't be disappointed whatsoever. So why don't you come and join me in discovering amazing talented artists and bringing it to the forefront of my channel for us to view. Now, my next reaction, we're going to go over to Ukraine, and I'm stepping into Yarmak's categories, yeah, like I told you before, and I'm going back in to see what talent Yarmak has done through the years. So I'm stepping back 4 years ago, I believe, and this particular track, it touches on a number of subjects, certainly around the world, which Yarmak has touched on. Now, I believe this particular person in there is a Olympic champion. It's called Jean. Let me know, or is it Jean? Jean. So that can be Sean, that could be Jean, that can be Jean. So let me know how I pronounce his name. It doesn't say much in the description page, except for the title of the track, which I believe it says "Rot Your Line," or is it Case of Stay in Your Line, or Bend Your Line? There's certain translations that I don't know which one it is, so I need you guys to help me out on that one. So I believe, from what I understand, is basically a story of this particular professional Olympic athlete in growing up as a Ukrainian, as being black in Ukrainian, but I don't think I think it's just I think it's a storyline, so to speak, of a certain incident when he was, and I think Yarmak has done a kind of a storyline of that. I don't know how close Yarmak and Jean is, but I'm sure that as a patriotic person that Yarmak is, and that's the reason why he's done that. You know, he celebrates Ukrainians for Ukrainians despite what color or shape or form you are. If you're Ukrainian, then you've got Ukrainian blood. It's as simple as that. And I can't wait to press the play button to find out even more. I have put the subtitles on, but like I said, there's nothing in the description page that I can share with you guys. So I do need information from yourself, and that is the history of the Olympian. I believe that he's won I think he's won a medal in Tokyo, and I don't know where else, so let me know about that. But it's I'll tell you what I'm intrigued about this particular video is an inkling of a character of Yarmak. You know, we know that he's very, very patriotic. But it's given me a little insight more deeper into Yarmak, and I believe I'm going to find that out as I go backwards rather than going forward into his music. So this is going to be really, really interesting for me. Look, if you haven't done already, please subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to hit the notification button to indicate to you when my next uploads will be. As well, I have a number of links that if you would like to participate in any way, shape or form in supporting Ukraine, please send me a DM on my Facebook or my Instagram, Uncle Momo Music Reactions, and I'll be more than happy to send you various links that these amazing artists are participating in, and indeed somewhat leading as well. Now, without further ado, you know what we're here for. Great vocabs and a damn good video audio music. Can you dig it? Okay. Getting bullied.
Говорят, Саня, да куда же ты делся? Говорят, вспомни, что же в треках ты пел сам. Да на фото Сани ты хотя бы улыбнулся. Поржавели Сани, он продался и сдулся. Видимо, такова природа. Увидят тут, если ты упал, второй шанс тебе не дадут. Ты сегодня гений, твои книги везде. Завтра либо расстрел, либо жгут на костре. Лишь время проявит Иуду. Годы покажут, кто прав. Я чищу круг и рассудок. Ведь жизнь это просто игра. Мне плевать на сплетни и слухи. Слуги дьявола меня не затянут в свой ад. В вашем мире женщины суки. В моем мире я не ставлю тупо всех в один ряд. Все обиды закаляли меня, делали мудрей. И я четко понимаю, что нас ждет на горе. Я не перегорел, и мой свет не померк. Всеми, кто меня не предал, поднимаемся наверх. Я не ведись, гни свою линию. Не сердись, гни свою линию. За спиной будут суки порицать, но ты не теряй лица, просто гни свою линию. Не ведись, гни свою линию. Не сердись, гни свою линию. За спиной будут суки порицать, но ты не теряй лица, просто гни свою линию. Где тот парень с добрыми глазами? Где душа, как книги разворот? Где те песни, что слушали часами? И пускай звучало мимо нот. Жизнь, сука, превращает лаву в камни. Жизнь закаляет тело, как сталь. Я прошу у неба, огради и дай мне силы, чтобы сохранить душе свой рай. Я сам подам руку тем, кто голодал. Моя сила молода, мне Господь немало дал. Мир сломан злом и престижем, а мной, как прежде, лишь правда движет. Не боюсь, не стыжусь, не теряюсь. Больше не ведусь на игры всех чертей. Разбиваю лоб, а года спотыкаюсь. Время мне подарит самых верных людей. Будет больно, захочется всех сук наказать. Только помни, вместе тебя потянет назад. Свой рюкзак ты не зря годами к цели волочил. Ты не предал мечту, распишись и получи. Я не ведись, гни свою линию. Не сердись, гни свою линию. За спиной будут суки порицать, но ты не теряй лица, просто гни свою линию. Не ведись, гни свою линию. Не сердись, гни свою линию. За спиной будут суки порицать, но ты не теряй лица, просто гни свою линию. Не ведись, гни свою линию. Не сердись, гни свою линию. За спиной будут суки порицать, но ты не теряй лица, просто гни свою линию. Не ведись, гни свою линию. Не сердись, гни свою линию. За спиной будут суки порицать, но ты не теряй лица, просто гни свою линию.
Okay, so he is Olympian. 2016. So that was Yarmak with Rot in Your Line. Let me know about that. I think it possibly more of stay in your line or, you know, stay in your lane or something like that. Let me know, please. It's very important. So where do you want me to start with this particular track? It highlights his story from how he got into wrestling and his determination, his trial and tribulation through that. It touches down on racism, which you get everywhere around the planet. And it's not only between like black and white racism, which is clearly like shown in the media's face all the time. It's all different kind of race having racism against each other. And normally it's your next door neighbors that starts from, you know, hate, jealousy, into violence in some sort. So there's racism every single where you go. And I have seen racism on different religion, different race, all different kind of things from different. It doesn't need to go into it. We all know it's there. But what's the thing is that it is it's the minority and not majority on the planet. Whereas, you know, many, thousands of years ago, where this planet was sort of like unsettled, into an era where we should be thinking with our hearts and our souls rather than our physical nature, and greed, so to speak. Yes, it's still greed goes around, but what I'm saying is a minority, it's not a majority. But it's nice to see the storyline where you can see that this happens everywhere, but as well as it happening everywhere, you also have the opposite opponent to that, which is people fighting against racism everywhere on this planet. And it just shows there's more humanitarian and spiritual people that want to get along with everybody else rather than the opposite side, which is, like I said, once again, are the minorities. When this happened back in the era where he was growing up. I'm sure that it is absolutely reduced down to the age that he is right now. And it's the same thing over in England. If you go back, say, into the 60s, 70s, and the somewhat early 80s, there was a lot of hatred between every kind of race that was coming into the UK. And it was, as well as as well as it being acceptable for every other race to come into the UK. It was just like a jumbled spaghetti until things got settled down. And, if you look at it now, the UK, especially London, as small as it is one of the largest successful multicultural countries on the planet. And where you see there be, wars going on in various other countries, you've got those same people who are having wars living in England, not creating hostility. Where those two children of the opposite side, still going to school together. They could be next door and they still feel it for each other, of the ignorancy of people going into having these hatreds for each other, but they're living next door to each other in harmony. Seriously. I feel this is the only country where you can get actually a Muslim that's living next to a Hebrew, that's living next to a Pakistani, that's living next to a Sikh, that's living next to an Asian, that's living next to a Rastafarian, that's living next to a Turkish person, that's living next to a Kurd. Do you know what I mean? And they're all living in harmony and without any kind of struggle or strife. And we need to get to that kind of place, because once we all come together, the amount of things that can be accomplished is just absolutely amazing. And it stems from your upbringing and the way how you're going to bring up the future. And I just love the way how Yarmak's heart is patriotic. He symbolizes fairness, equality, love. In all his music, there's certain things so far that I've seen that is a subject to be having a conversation with, a subject to have a decent dialogue with. And he puts it in terms of music and visuals where you can't deny it. You can't turn around the corner and trying to avoid it. It's really, really in your face. Artists like Alona does that as well, hits on the subject right and gets a spear and jabs it right into your heart and where it's unavoidable. And I love that. This is a story told in a poetic way where you have to be standing and be aware of day-to-day issues that is happening and occurring from around the world. But the balance is that the people who are showing it are kind-hearted, that wants to bring awareness to everybody, to change hearts and to change the minds of hearts into a rational thinking that we are indeed all the same. It's as simple as that. And for that reason, Yarmak, you are an amazing artist. And for that reason, once again, I salute you. Boom.
Будут суки порицать, но ты не теряй лица, просто гни свою линию. Не ведись, гни свою линию. Не сердись, гни свою линию. За спиной будут суки порицать, но ты не теряй лица, просто гни свою линию.